break between the end of one Formula One season and the start of another is widely agreed upon to be the longest unit of time possible, when measured from the viewpoint of any F1 fan. This is when rumours and hot takes like Ferrari finally coming good again start percolating, only held back by livery reveals and some pre-season on-track action. With the officially unofficial first test session in Barcelona having just wrapped up, us F1 fans who also happen to love watches, and there's a lot of us, have just been handed another interesting tidbit to talk about until the start of the new season in Australia. And that is the news that Breitling is going to be the watch sponsor of the Aston Martin Formula One team. To celebrate the partnership, they're also launching a new watch, the Navitimer B01 Chronograph 43 Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team. This watch not only joins the list of lengthily-named F1 special editions, but also marks the return of the iconic model to the track, as well as being the first ever titanium Navitimer. As for Aston Martin and Breitling together, this is one of those partnerships that just makes sense. The automaker is the definition of fast British luxury, but with historic and modern developments on the very bleeding edge. The watch before us is a derivative of the 43mm Navitimer B01, expectedly featuring subtle hints of British racing green. What I presume was the real challenge is making the Navitimer's iconic but 70-year-old design work with the cutting-edge nature of today's Formula One. To do that, Breitling chose a chopped carbon fibre dial with very subtle green mottling, setting it against a classic reverse panda colourway. Interestingly, there is no Aston Martin branding visible dial side, although I wonder whether Breitling chose to use its vintage AOPA logo on purpose, as it subtly resembles Aston Martin's winged badge. Now, those who have had the chance to try on the 43mm Navitimer in person will know that it's not a small watch. Alongside the diameter, there's also the 13.69mm thickness and 49.07mm lug-to-lug, neither of which will play too nicely with smaller wrists. That said, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first ever Navitimer in titanium, which is a pretty big deal for such a historically significant reference. Titanium will take some of the bulk off the wrist, but also contributes to the avant-garde engineering feel, consistent with F1 racing. Not so sporty, however, is its water resistance rating, which is still stuck at 30 metres. Granted, it's not like most owners will be wearing it in an open cockpit race car during a Spa or Suzuka downpour, but 30 metres just feels a bit too low for a watch with such sporty intentions. Apart from the green and electric yellow highlights hinting at the Aston Martin partnership, the only overt confirmation of the Aston connection is visible on the winding rotor of the in-house B01 CALIBRE. This tried-and-true performer is Breitling's premier choice for its chronographs, offering a column wheel and vertical clutch architecture alongside a 70-hour power reserve. A final nice touch? The strap is made from a SEATBELT pattern-embossed leather, which is another subtle nod to its motorsports connection, while being a tad more comfortable and premium than if it was made of real seatbelt polyester. Of the 11 teams on the Formula One grid this year, 7 have partnerships with watch brands, but not all team watches are made equal. Personally, I rank this initial Breitling effort quite highly. It's subtly done, nods to Breitling's F1 history whilst also feeling really on brand for Aston Martin, and offers some genuine novelty in its titanium construction. I think the measure of a good co-branded watch like this is if it's something that you can imagine people who aren't even fans of F1 or Aston Martin wanting to wear. I think this Navitimer ticks that box. But what do you think? And what watches would you like to see the pair collaborate on next? Let me know in the comments. The Breitling Navitimer B01 Chronograph 43 Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team is a limited edition of 1,959 pieces, a nod to the year that Aston made its debut in F1. The price? £8,900. You'll find a complete list of specs in the description of this video, and head to time+tidewatches.com for our full written review. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's the best way you can support us going forward making more videos like this. And until next time, don't be a stranger.